My name is Steve Peterman. Today is August 23rd, 2016, and the time is 5:04. And we are at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in Delafield, Wisconsin. I am interviewing Fritz Krause, who was born in September of 1924 and served in World War II from 1942 to 1945. Fritz was a corporal in the Army Air Corps, 71st Service Squadron, 387th Bombardier Group M, and was an airplane mechanic. This interview is sponsored by the Bell Tower Memorial. You want me to do it again? No. Fritz, you were in the Army Air Corps. Did you enlist, or were you drafted?
I enlisted because three of my brothers ahead of me got drafted, and I said, I want to pick out what I want. I was a kid that took stuff apart and couldn't put the stuff together, but I just had to see how it was made and how to put it together, and my pa helped me also. And I was also interested in airplanes. For some reason, when I was maybe 5 years old, we lived on 26 in Concordia, and Timmerman Field is way out there, and there's airplanes out there. So we hiked out there and seen the airplanes land. And I walked partway back home. I got maybe 60 Capitol Drive, and I pooped out. And my brothers had to carry me as I slept there. I stood away home.
So that's why you kind of gravitated towards the Army Air Corps.
And I made airplanes, model airplanes, and
Perfect.
those and stuff like that. And
Good.
there's an airplane factory over in Hopkins Street.
Oh,
That
sure.
was on about 29th Street
Yeah,
at one
yeah,
time.
absolutely.
I was interested in airplanes.
Cool. So how old were you at the time you enlisted?
18 years old.
18.
About a month after my birthday, September, October, I think on the 23rd, I think I left. October.
And how old are you now?
I'll be 82. I'm 81 right now. I'll be 82 in another about 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. And what were you doing at the time that you enlisted? Were you working at the time?
I worked out they made window frames and garage doors.
Okay.
And down State Street down there, where Gittleman Brewery Company is next door there.
Sure, sure.
There was a job for something to do.
When you went into training, where did you go for your initial training?
Well, training, and you figure in the Army or Air Corps, they put you through the basic training and stuff like that. We didn't have anything like that. They sent us to Lincoln, Nebraska Airplane Mechanics School. And it was rough. Oh, it was rough. We stayed in a fancy 5-story building right in downtown Lincoln, Nebraska. And when we ate over at the YMCA across the street. They had all the movie picture houses, just like downtown Milwaukee or downtown Lincoln, Nebraska. And we had our schedule, so it was rough.
What were your thoughts when you left to go to training? Were you concerned? Were you excited about it?
No, there was an outfit run by Lindbergh out of my private school at one time, and I took over Lincoln there in Medical Institute.
Mm-hmm.
And we had classes in two different classes. We didn't hardly ever see the other class for the whole months we were training. That's the first part.
And how long were you stationed there for basic training?
I think in the first part of in the spring of 43, we went down to Dyersburg, Tennessee. They shipped us out to Salt Lake City, and we thought we were going overseas without any training or anything, but they shipped us back to Dyersburg, Tennessee from Salt Lake City, and worked on B-17s. And that was my special. I thought, oh, that's a nice airplane, 4-engine. That's the first flight I ever had in a B-17.
How long were you stationed there?
And we were stationed there from 43 till end of, first part of December of 45, they're going to ship us overseas. So we went up to Camp Kilmer, New Jersey. I could have went into New Year's Eve in New York. It's down. So I didn't do it, but I went the next day and you couldn't tell there was anything to go home. I kicked myself in the fanny for not going on New Year's Day.
How hard was it to adapt to military life, going from the civilian life going into the basic training? Was it difficult to do?
No, see, like I didn't have any manual arms or any sneaking up on things like that. Came much later, but I had a little bit of that.
So it was more like going to school?
Oh, well, it was like I went to school.
Mm-hmm.
Learned something in the school.
When did you find out where you were going to be deployed to?
When they shipped us over to New Jersey, we're going to B-17s, they needed B-17 mechanics and stuff, but the 9th Air Force was organized out of the 8th Air Force. The 8th Air Force was big, heavy bombers, and they had some light, medium bombers and pursuit planes. And the last part of 1983, they said they want to get rid of the medium bombers, make the 9th Air Force. So it's a bunch of guys from Africa and a bunch of small bombers and pursuit planes. They made the 9th Air Force, so we had to take the 8th Air patch off and put the 9th patch on there. So we're 9th Air Force, and when they got overseas, they didn't know what to do with us. There was too many mechanics over there, too many B-17 mechanics, and guys were ready. Almost got in a glider, towing gliders and stuff like that, paratroopers, but they didn't need us there. They had enough guys there. Fast, you're going over this B-26 outfit, which we don't know nothing about.
And where was this?
Huh?
Where was this?
Let's see, the first place in was northeast of London, on Chelmsford. Chelmsford, they call it, a little town there. And there was a B-26 base there.
Yeah. How did you get there from New Jersey? What was the mode of transportation?
Rowboat.
It probably wasn't real fast.
It wasn't
How did
fast.
you go over?
I tell a story about getting on the boat in New York. Some guys got seasick just for loading the boat, back and forth. Me, I could stand out on the deck at nighttime and enjoy the waves and see the propeller coming out of the water. And I left, I think I told you, I left the States with not a penny in my pocket. Not one penny. And it was cold, so I put my overcoat on. I went outside on the deck. Nighttime, I reached in my pocket and I found a dime. I left it in the United States with 10-cent piece in my pocket. A rich man. And I bought a candy bar and I didn't have any money after that. Nobody gave me any money.
How long were you stationed at that particular location outside of London? Were you there the entire time of the war, or
No,
did you get moved
no.
around?
Outfit, we moved down to southern England for D-Day invasion, and invasion started when we were over at Chelmsford, and I got appendicitis, so I ended up in the hospital, and the outfit off to go over to Normandy, and they were stationed by the Norman, what's the name? Normandy, and they had an airfield there. Took off right over the water. I missed that because I was in the hospital for two months with appendicitis. And they put me in a Jeep. They flew me over to north. Sherbrooke. And put me in a Jeep, and I got in a replacement center. And it was in Paris, France, about a day and a half, 2 days after they liberated it. And there's still some shooting going on in there. And it was not, we stayed at a fancy hotel out in Chateau Rothschild Estate over there. Had servants' quarters. We stayed in servants' quarters. The officer stayed in a big fancy building with it. That's another story. What happened after that? I got a million.
So,
And I stayed with them for quite a while. And they finally found my outfit over southwest of Paris someplace. I don't know the name of the town. And it was a German air base. It was a big, heavy bomber base. And they had bombs right on this table. It was from here over the gentleman there. 5,000-pound bombs, 1,000-pound bombs, 500, all around the perimeter track. Holes, craters where you can walk 50 foot out, fall in a crater. Picture the guy's tents all over the place. And a big hangar there, half burned out with all this incendiary bombs they used to bomb England with, and airplanes of laying on the ground, and peel them up off the ground. And I picked up something I shouldn't have picked up, and I hurt my hand. Okay. I ain't gonna go back. I got the medics over, and they did the best they did, fixing my hand up, and about a day or two later they sent me to a hospital over in some town in France. And they took the stitches out and sent me back to England. So I spent 2 months more in the hospital.
Okay.
So I go all through the hospital trying to figure out how I want to get back to my outfit again. And I got back to my outfit 2 days after they had a bad accident on the field when 38 guys get killed. I missed it by 2 days. I know I would have been out there helping those guys. Get everything. The fire department, the medics, the air guys in the airplane, they got them out, but the airplane blew up in one big bang, and that was the end of that. But I learned a lesson. When the airplane cracked up, everybody ran. That could run, and we had about 3 or 4 after that blew up on the field. Everybody got out and ran. Nobody. We didn't have any fire department. The medics left or nothing. And I stayed with those guys. That was right in the first part of December when the Battle of the Bulge started. And you talk about sunny France, where you had snow that deep, and so water baskets in the water tank that froze, and then heavy water. They give you a little clump of coal about that big. Supposed to last you a whole week in a tent. And when you're a private PFC or a corporal in the Air Force in those days, you did the KP, you did all the other dirty work. You worked on planes once in a while. I got dirty. But we didn't bother with the bomb group. We got our own B-26s, changed motors and stuff on them, and worked on our B-26s. But most of the time was guard duty and latrine duty, and to this day I don't know what we use for a latrine. It's a blank in my head. I don't know. I didn't eat. I didn't go to Canada for since 7th December until May, so I didn't go in the toilet at all. And when we moved up to Holland, right, on April, we moved over to Beek, Holland. And I don't think they did much flying out of it. It was just a grass field with that landing mat, and they kind of wrecked airplanes with tires and stuff like that. And the war ended over in England, when it was over in the Beek, Holland. They want to get rid of low points guys. And the outfit was there a couple of months before I was, so I was a lower point guy, but I went to high point guys to stay. We were going to get home sooner, so replacement center again. So I ended up in first Germany on a P-51 outfit. I worked about 2 months on P-51s, and it's lax time over in Europe. The war was over, and they took this truck and put some seats in it. I've seen sights I would never see otherwise. Berchtesgaden and Nuremberg, and went skiing in the Alps and down to Italy and Salzburg and all this time. It took quite a few days for this trip. Amagau and King Ludwig's Palace is something I would never see if it wouldn't have been a war. The war was still going on over in Europe and Asia, but over there it was peacetime. And okay, they didn't. I was 19 years old. They needed replacements. Guys, the war was still going on over in Japan, but then I got back to this same air base over in France where the airplane blew up. That's another story that I seen. And we had a convoy down to Marseille, and they said they had the boat all loaded, and we got on the boat at night time, and in the morning we got up and we were heading west towards Gibraltar instead of the canal, Suez Canal. Otherwise we would have been over in Japan. I thank God that I was on the boat and those other guys were still taking airplanes apart. I never did find out. I asked our bomb group what happened to all the mechanics and stuff. And then after the Battle of the Bulge, they came around and took about 8, 10 guys out of the four groups we had. 556, 557, 58, 59, whatever it is. And take about 6 or 7 guys out of each group, and they took about 6 of our guys and put them on a truck and off they went. Never found out whatever they did with them. Made a new outfit out of engineers or what they did, so I don't know what happened to those guys.
Interesting.
So,
I read a couple of letters that were sent to you from pilots, and they were thanking you for keeping them safe. Would you consider that probably the most important contribution you made to the war effort?
well, I did what I was told to do. Our outfit was a service group connected with the bomb group. And they did the parachute riggings, and if your parachute didn't work right, bring it back. Figure that one out.
Sure.
And there's lots of things that happened during the service that was serious, and there's lots of things that was funny.
Was it pretty easy to make friends while you were around?
Pretty good. It wasn't too bad. Even when I came back to the outfit. But I finally got a fresh egg one time, and the cooks cooked me up an egg, and some jackass took the pepper top off the pepper shaker and it up. And afterwards, we got the lady in a little town there furnished with eggs, and cooked eggs in our tent. But none of us this day. We were there, I was there in December, and we were moved up to Holland. And from December till the time we got to Holland is the first time I got into water. We didn't have a shower or nothing.
No.
You figure that one out. And we were building a shower when we moved out up to Holland, and we never got to use a shower. Got up to Holland, there was a canal up there. It was this town, and we were jumping in the water. It was ice cold water from the mountains or something like that. Oh, that felt good though.
Okay. Can you give me maybe an example of some strong leadership that you saw over there, maybe from one of your superiors?
I presume it was the time when I wasn't there, when that airplane blew up. And they learned their lesson after that. That's about, we didn't associate too much with the bomb group, just our officer. And he happened to have a name of Ungulator, American captain, Ungulator. I think he's a German for Christ's sake. But he treated us okay. When you had a mess hall, you walk through there and you got your scrambled eggs and mashed potatoes, and you look through the curtain and you see the officers there with fancy eating stuff that we didn't. Powdered eggs and pancakes and stuff like that. But I never left any scraps in my biscuit. When we were over in big Holland there, these poor people would stand next to the fence where we dumped the garbage. They went our garbage so they have something to eat. And these people, I remember where ended, I get down at the railroad station where they were coming back. That's where I got orange. We went the other east and they were going back home. So some of those people that really, yeah, I'm glad I never seen a concentration camp. That would have put a kibosh to me.
Sure. Could you give some examples of maybe some life lessons that you learned while you were over there that you maybe kept with you through your life?
I was told just to do what you're told to do. That's about it. I'm a young kid, what the heck. They needed gunners and stuff like that. I never volunteered for that. I don't know if they would have took me at all. But I was no hero.
What month and year were you discharged?
Remember December 7th? Remember December 7th?
Of 45?
41, the war started?
Yep.
That's the same day I got out of it.
Oh, really?
December 7th.
December 7th. Never forget it. Cool.
Strange or true.
Yeah.
I finished it.
So your group has a newsletter called Yay Bots?
Yeah, but
What does Yay Bots stand
it's
for?
in the picture in the
Right, I saw it.
it's you name it.
It's okay.
Every squadron was one guy sitting on a bomb. The other one was the blast one.
Yeah.
Each one had a different thing like that.
Very interesting.
I remember going into town and the head of the blast squadron, he had a leather jacket with his the blast picture on the back. Yeah, like I said, I got out of a minute in one story, but I can't tell you all the story.
Well, tell me about this one. You wrote an article in the August 1995 edition of the newsletter about a story it was called Roadblock. Do you remember that?
There's from the base goes up down country road like this, and they have telephone poles, concrete poles. And I swear up the day before that there was nothing there, and when they threw there, it was you drop a truck through there.
Hole in the road?
Hole in the road. The telephones all flashed on there, and I was told that some guy was bringing a load of bombs back to the field through the town, and the camouflage net and stuff started on fire, and he built the truck out there and left it. He didn't get hurt at all.
But he got it out of the village.
Yeah, he got out of the village. I helped over in England. A guy come in, his nose wheel went down, and his main landing gear wouldn't come down. His nose wheel wouldn't come up. So he's flying around just with the nose wheel down, and all 6 guys in the plane stayed in that plane. He come, me and another guy loaded all the fire extinguishers we could find and put them in the Jeep, and we followed that airplane down the runway line. And he put that plane down, most guys, bang, bang, bang. This guy, he put that plane down so nice. And you lose your momentum, and he slides over the side, slides in the mud. And we pull on the side, there's no smoke or nothing, we don't need the fire extinguishers. And the guy gets the cockpit open, and he says, "God damn it, I had to keep it level." How do you expect to bounce that airplane?
Wow.
And that's the reason why I said I would have been right there when I knew this airplane cracked up. I know I would have been right there. I was there.
So do you have the opportunity to stay in touch with the guys you were in the service with?
No,
Not too much?
no. It's just right the day after the war ended over in Europe, that we were shipping out and never. I seen one guy from our outfit once down on the south side, South 6th Street, standing on the corner, back in 46 or something like that. And I tried to get a hold of the guys that was in the service group more than the bomb group, because I didn't do much with the bomb group.
Did you ever have the opportunity to go back over to where you were deployed and see it?
No, I would love to go back there again. San Quintin was a nice town. That was only about 20 miles away from Belle de Bulge, and Patton, if we had one more day, Patton wanted to take all the Air Force guys that were mechanics and give them the gun. We had our guns. They took our galoshes away from us. They took our blankets away from us. One blanket they gave us, and one little lousy sleeping bag wasn't worth 10, 12 weather, sleeping put one blanket underneath you before you. You're wondering what's going on that night.
So once you were out and you came back home, what was your career then?
I didn't do nothing. I was hoping I could get in over at the airport, some kind of job, but there's nothing doing. So for a couple of months I didn't do nothing.
Okay.
And I suppose so I got to get a job someplace. I started working for a Cutler Ham for $9.13 an hour, night shift. 3 months straight without a day off. I said, you could take the job and shove it. And I started with the city in 1946 for 98 cents an hour. And I stayed with them for 38 and a half years.
Were you a mechanic working for the city? So doing what you love to do?
Yeah, just taking stuff apart and putting stuff together. I could take transmissions. In those days, I only had about 3 or 4 transmissions because I bought all American cars. Put an engine together, bearings and stuff like that.
And what year did you retire?
1984. So that's 32 years.
Mm-hmm.
This 9th of December. 9th of September. 1984. 32
Long time.
years.
Long time. Have you had the opportunity to go on an honor flight?
Yes, I went in 2009.
2009. You went to Washington, D.C.?
And I was on a smaller plane, only 60 people on there. Some carried 200. We had a good flight. In Milwaukee, left. And Joe Dean, let's run this. He liked my so high so much. Oh, yeah, that admired. He gets to Washington, D.C., and the girl comes to give me a hug. And I said, that's no good. I give her a good kiss. And Dean says, I like your tie. All day long, he's moaning. And on the way back home, he says, I like your tie. I said, take my goddamn tie. And he gave him a medallion, something like this, or a nice one. I said, here, take my tie. And he gave me a medallion. And it was 2009, I says, they should have every GI to see what we see. You'll never forget it.
What did you all get to see? Which memorials?
All the memorials.
Yeah.
And 2009, I says, I want to give them some money, so I finally, last month or two, I finally kicked myself in the ass and gave them some money. Which I want some more guys to go over.
Did you get over to Arlington?
No.
And on the way back, did they have something called mail call?
Mail call, that brought tears to the eyes. I got more mail in one day and I got 3 years in service.
And who did the mail come from? Family?
From the family and the kids in school and stuff, people that you know. But that was surprising. And I told my oldest boy to pick me up at 9:30 or something like that. And he didn't come at 9:30. All of my relatives there over there, thousands of people.
Yeah. So what was it like when you got off the plane and got back into Mitchell Field, the reception?
Oh, all those people. It was surprising. Like I said, I thought maybe a kid would pick me out of the crowd. But it was, there's another thing you'll never forget as long as you live with it, I presume.
That was the whole idea, though, the honor flight.
I went down, my outfit, I've gone out somewhere, gentlemen went on the flights too, and I went to wish them luck on the way back home. But we had a good flight there, good day over there, and good day coming back, good weather.
Good. Awesome. Very good.
I got other stories, but
Well, I think we are wrapping this up.
You go to the show house nowadays, it didn't cost you a show house. They put two squad tents together, but they had a little gap in between the two long tents, and they put the motion picture machine here and the screen over there. And the movie of the night was Home in Indiana, with the green fields and all beautiful scenery, and the snow was dropping down.
The snow comes down between the tents?
Between the tents. And we seen part of the movie, and the air raid siren went off, and that was the end of the movie.
Cool. Well, you have some fun memorabilia too.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good.
Play.
Which is good.
I got back to outfit, and we were going to play. The springtime come, we played baseball out in the field, and here comes about 4 or 5 P-51s, and they're going to peel off and land, and the guy hit the machine gun thing, and he was bouncing machine gun bullets off the runway right next to where we were playing baseball. They played a volleyball. You watched the Olympics volleyball. We played down at the city. I had a big building in 6th and Wells Street at one time, old big, sort of big building. We put up a volleyball net down there, and we played on concrete. And I had more guys banked up. And the boss says, don't play so hard. Too many guys are going to the hospital.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Now I can't even lift up. I don't have a time to lift up a beer. That's when I was younger.
Well, thank you, Fritz, very much.
I hope like I said, I got 1,000,001 stories, but I can't tell her. I didn't break the camera. No guarantee on there.
You did great. Just tell me when you're ready.
All set.
Okay. In closing, this has been an interview with Fritz Krause regarding his service during World War II. My name is Steve Peterman. The time is 5:36. Fritz, thank you for this interview, and most of all, thank you for your service.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The reason I enlisted, my 3 brothers, my brother Jim was in the service before the war started. In February of 42, Bobby Krause gets his notice. October comes along, Thomas gets his notice, he's drafted. And every time one of his kids left the house, my ma and pa have conniptions. He says, I can't stand it no more. I went the same day, same train. So 4 of us guys were in service at one time. And before the war ended, my brother Mick got his draft notice, and he got drafted for all 5 of us kids were in the service at one time. So. And I got to see my brother Jim over in England quite a few times. He got shrapnel, AK to his hand. He was in the hospital before I went overseas. And then I came back and I didn't know where he was. And I asked the lady, USO lady, I ran on a 35 cents I had in my pocket. I made a phone call to the hut, and he wasn't there anymore. Where was he? I let my brother Jim know I was back in England. She said, sit down. 5 minutes later, I'm talking to my brother, and he's less than a mile away in a different hospital. We could have sat there 2 months, that close together, not knowing. That's one good thing. My brother Tom got hurt down in Italy, someplace. It's just fragments on his legs. My brother Bob was in the South Pacific Air Force supply outfit. My brother Mick got sent up to Alaska, and his only relative there was on a dog sled. He got an Eskimo friend of his on a dog sled. He ran the motion picture machine and the show us up there. So we got to see the world. We all got back in one place, and I'm the only one of us 10. My sister-in-law, my wife was all gone, so I'm the only one of 10 of us. But that's life. I consider myself a lot luckier than lots of other guys.
Thank you very much.
All done over there?
Yep.
We are done. Thank you,
Yes.
Fritz.
Walker,
It was great.
Yeah. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Oh, it's right here.
Start walking.
Right behind me.
Walking, take a couple of steps and I'll fall. I got a million other stories, so it all happened. I found a tavern over in London, England one time. A little strike underneath the door, and I got knocked out of shape because I could never find that tavern again. How many times I went back to London, and never found it. Pub. I know.
Take that with you?
Would you like some pie? Does that sound good? How about that? We got some pie.